Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Param Ishvaro Guratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sabha Vedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Verse 7, page 87. So we are following the logic presented by Gaudapada. He's drawing the parallels between the dream state, the dream world, and the waking world. And the goal is to prove that although appearance suggests that one is unreal and the other is real, so the goal here is to prove that both are unreal, or both are just a projection. So we have been going and through the logics, the objective objections, logics of a supposed objector who says no, but one is out, one is inside. There is, and there is utility, and then there is uniqueness. There are several arguments here we have seen, which makes us feel that the waking world is real and the dream world is unreal. And we need to follow the Vedantic logic so that we can make up our mind in regards to this debate. So the verse 7 says, their utility is contradicted in dream, therefore they are indeed considered to be unreal, only since they have a beginning and an end. So the argument of utility is not a really valid argument, as we know, because in the dream world, a cup has utility in the dream world. So ultimately, we need to go back to the beginning of these Upanishads, in which Gaudapada presents, now the Rishi who wrote the Upanishads presents that there is not really a real world, okay? And then everything is a superimposition or a projection. And how we're gonna understand the reason? The reason is very simple. Anything that is known in consciousness. And it requires the presence of consciousness to be known. In anything, in order to be known, must be experienced. Anything experienced must be an object of experience. Any object of experience brings about a certain conclusion in regards to that object. So any knowledge requires consciousness, which happens to be the true nature of the experiencer, as long as the experiencer is a human jiva in this planet. So it's consciousness is what apparently concedes reality to this world, which is not really real. Therefore, the definition we have is that it's a mithya world. It's available for appearance, available for experience, available for knowledge, but it's not real. And we have several examples to prove that many things in our day-to-day experience of life are available for experience, knowledge, and definitely they appear, and but they are not real, such as the blue sky, among many others, and the mirage, and so on. So anything that is objectified is mithya, and the subject is consciousness, the self, Atma. is Satyan. The objectification is the ultimate argument to define the unreality of this physical material world. Okay, so we have an objectification in regards to the dream world, and according to the Shastras, even in the subtle realms, celestial realms, the lokas, and so on, there as well, there is an objectification. But it's easy to understand that whatsoever we experience those lokas, we experience because of consciousness, which is the only principle that allows experience and knowledge. So, and then it's easy for us to take the consciousness as such and the celestial dream as mithya. Therefore, the satsang in Brahmaloka with Brahman is also mithya, because it is an object of experience. Satya is the only reality, is the only principle, and this principle concedes appearance existence to all these projections, superimposition. How so? How is consciousness conceding? Oh, it is a very, very long story. It goes with years of studies and reflection on the teachings of the Upanishads until we get a slightly understanding on how Maya produced this superimposition that appears as if real. But as we know, it's only a reflection on the mirror-like conscious existence principle, and which is not apart from the mirror-like consciousness, okay? So the screen on which images are projected is the easiest way or the best analogy to understand that the projections, although they can be experienced in the cinema hall, the cinema theater, but in reality, everybody's experienced what? The screen. So I want to know what I'm experiencing here. So you stand up and go all the way to the screen to see if you find somebody there. You don't find anything, you find only the screen. So likewise, we have consciousness, which is like a screen or like a mirror, a screen on which Maya projects this incredible dynamic magic show, or a mirror on which the cosmos, the universe, reflects upon. So what is the reality? Is Satya, is consciousness, the mirror-like principle. The first objection is that the awakening world must be accepted because all objects in the awakened world have utility, they are useful, and that was debunked, that logic, because in the dream as well there is utility for anything. Therefore, utility is not a good argument, okay? Because in all realms, any and everything there is going to have a certain usefulness, okay, or purpose or utility. So you get a lot of money in your dream. So you're going to enjoy that money during the dream state, right? You're going to travel, you're going to go buy a boat or a nicer car. So it has an utility there. The problem is that, you cannot take your money from the waking world and have a good time in the dream world and vice versa. You cannot do that because they are different, unique suborders of reality. So therefore, utility is not a good criterion, for reality/unreality. That is the point here. The verse 8, the uniqueness is indeed the attribute of the observer. So if there is a uniqueness, is indeed the attribute of the observer as consciousness, as in the case of the citizens of heaven. So we're going to see what how Swami, I don't remember right now, how Swami unfolds this aspect here, these mystical citizens of the heaven locus. Having gone there, these entities, one experience them just as well informed in this world. So you're going to experience that the same way you experience here. So we're going to understand this uniqueness, which is very nicely unfolded here by Swamiji, which is very, very, very peculiar, particular, and nice to be understood. So it states here that the dream must also be taken as such, because dream is not a mental projection based on the awakened state. So why people are going to say that? Because if dream would be recycled material from the awakened states, how come I can fly on my dreams sometimes? I never had an experience of flying in the awakened state. So where is this vasana coming from? So, and then we say, no, it cannot be, there is a unique features about dreams that cannot come from the awakened state, because in the awakened state, those things do not exist. So it is a good argument. Normally, dream is defined as vasana projection from the mind. It's said to be mithya because it's a projection of the mind. The objector says that the dream cannot be based on projection of our vasanas of the awakened state. There are some dreams in which I experience unique things. They are unique. They belong to the dream world, and it's not recycled from anywhere else. So uniqueness must be approved that the dream world is satya as well, is real as well. So now he's bringing another sort of argument. It's a very nice one. I like this one. So it cannot be such. It cannot be, since the awakening is similar to the dream, it must also be satya. And then it says some dasanas like Visita Advaita. So some schools of thoughts hold that dream is not our mental projection, but created by God for a particular jiva. Okay, so I think that would go with the concept that I have been associated to a certain school many years back, on which used to take dreams to be as real as the awakened state, because in those dreams you were there, and there was a reality, and there was something that you accomplishing or learning. They used to give so much importance to dreams, saying that dreams are just not mere dreams. They are subtle travels. You are traveling, you are doing things, you are doing good work. It's real. No? So they say that dream is not our mental projections, yes, but it's God doing something particular for a particular jiva. Thus, uniqueness in the dream proves the reality of the dream state. Awake and dream are both unique, in their own way, and both must be taken as satya. I guess that some dreams may be more than just a dream. You understand? The people who like interdimensional travels or things like that, they would argue, be happy with this statement. Not all dreams are just dreams. Some dreams may be something so powerful that it's just not just a dream. It's a huge release of certain energies which were held by some traumatic past experience. You understand? And on a more mystical way, some dreams may be really some traveling that you do with a certain subtle body vibrating certain ways, visiting certain locus and interacting with that fielded experience. So that's also a possibility. I don't go there because Vedanta has nothing to do with mysticism and esotericism. But our goal is self-knowledge, and the scripture states very clearly that it is in the waking world, interacting with the waking body, physical body, that our mind can effectively learn things that may be conducive to our self-knowledge and moksha. So Gaudapada's answer is that uniqueness cannot be the criteria for reality. We do have several mental projections unique to us. So if uniqueness is criterion for reality, whatever we uniquely project can be considered to be real. Some people have certain projections that may be difficult to find in other vasanas, but that does not make this criterion valid to prove such a nature of the dream world. That's not so. And the argument that uniqueness is a good criterion for reality is simplistic, too simplistic. Yeah, I agree. No one accepts dream as real. Whether dream is unique or not, whether dream is just a different, faster experienced based on the awakening state experience or not, no? Dreams depends on what? On the consciousness, on the satya consciousness, which is the nature of the observer of the dream. Yeah? Since the unique dream object depends on the dream observer, it does not have independent existence the same way the awakening universe depends on consciousness to be validated as an experience. Okay, so any objective experience depends on consciousness, and consciousness is there in the dream state, in the deep sleep state, in whatsoever mystical state, going through all possible heavens and hells. Nothing escapes consciousness, because consciousness is the foundation, is the substratum, is the base. Furthermore, the type of world we experience depends on the type of instruments we are using. You can never prove an object world as it is. This is also very nice and profound. So you can never prove the world is such and such because I perceive it in this way, we can never prove, because the world depends on the instruments we receive those stimulus, So as we know, different animals perceive the same world differently because they have different instruments. So we have the sense organs perceiving the world, and then we have the mind. Yeah. So we perceive through the sense organs and through the mind, which is the integrator of all these channels. And then how about the mind? So the world we perceive through our mind. Our mind is a program, okay? And social engineering and all of that is nothing but program the mind to perceive reality in a certain way. As the proverb says, if you control the narrative, if you control the education, you control the way people perceive the world. So we can never say that the object world is this and not that. It depends on the instruments of perception and the mind, after all. If we would have a body of an animal, the same world would be experienced differently. We will never know how chickens, dogs, and cats experience the world, because we need to be under their skin. And then we need to remember later on, the moment a human being gets this is good for Mark. The moment a human being gets a celestial body and goes to have satsang with in Brahma Loka, he will experience a celestial world here and now. Here and now. for a celestial, this world will be non-existent. Gaudapada says that the existence of the world depends on the observer, the instrument. So as Swami Paramarthananda explains, sometimes he does not go much into these things, but any one of these locusts, we must use a different subtle body, okay? We have three bodies to experience these three realms, the causal, subtle, and physical. And then we see the subtle body. We have several subtle bodies, different frequencies, that allows us to experience these different locus. So any experience will depend on this instrument. And then if you have an experience on the celestial, so here, with that body, you are not going to experience anything here because it's going to be such as non-existence, whatsoever we experience here, because it depends on the body, the kind of instruments, the sense you have within that body, So what is reality? The only reality, it becomes, when we try to find reality in the world, the phenomenal world of objects of knowledge, experience, we get lost there. There is no way, we can see people making hard. I have a friend of mine who lives in the USA, it's all the time trying, oh my God, I need to know reality, so much to know, and this and that, and this knowledge contradict. When I think that I know nothing, oh my God, now I'm a wise person, because I say I know nothing, And the guy goes in total confusion and he suffers with that. And I have been trying to point out to him, the guy that I wrote that satsang that I never sent, I'm trying to point out to him that, you, consciousness, are the only reality. Just keep it simple. Because if you go into the world of phenomena, you will never find anything that you could say, this is it, this is real, okay? No, everything is conditional, everything is relative. There is no absolute truth in any object of experience, no matter how up celestial it may be. Any different animals have different sensory faculties, and their experience will be unique to those instruments, those faculties. Thus, uniqueness of experience is not a criterion of reality. In different birds, a Jivatma experiences different fields of experience, locus, depending upon the body that he's using, the upadi, which is the instrument of experience, to go into different locus. But all these different locus depend upon what? Consciousness. Because they appear in consciousness and not apart from consciousness as consciousness, the only reality. These objects, these locus, this beautiful or otherwise experience, they appear and disappear, they change from moment to moment, and consciousness is there allowing those experiences to take place. We have to be so careful not to be deceived by the world, not only the physical world, but all other worlds. That's the problem with mysticism. People get caught up thinking that they are going to find reality in the mystical realms. You understand? But no, it's Mithya, it's an object of experience. You are the only reality. No, I go to the fifth dimension, there I'm going to have a good time, and then I will find reality. We never know. If you go to a higher dimension, maybe there it could be easier for you to recognize that you are the only reality, as consciousness, because nothing escapes consciousness. Consciousness is the only common unchanging factor. But we never know. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe it is possible. I just trust my guru. I trust the scriptures. when Swamiji says that we need to be hooked up to a physical instrument, and then in a well solid structure field of experience in which we can process experience in a manner that we can extract some knowledge, understanding, and otherwise it's more like, like different realms, different kinds of dreams. You are just exhausting punya papa. Here we exhaust punya papa as well, but here we exhaust punya papa with a much larger, greater possibility of extracting wisdom, spiritual wisdom, while exhaust punya papa. But we don't know. If we go to one of these realms and we're going to be exhausting punya there, having a wonderful time, I don't know if my instrument of knowledge, my intellectual faculty, will be available for me to understand this also is mithya, and I am satya. We don't know. We don't know. Because that thing's going to go like poo, 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 more or less like a dream. The intellect is not available in the dream state. So we don't know, and I don't care to know. I trust the scriptures of the Upanishads and the Vedanta. And I know that self-knowledge is possible here. If it's possible in the fifth dimension, so be it, even better. The sixth, whatever, how many different structures talk about many, many different dimensions as well, no? So the bottom line is the existence of all words depends on the consciousness of the observer. And the experience, the aspect, the experience of each word will depend upon the instrument of perception. So you have the mind and the sense organs, which is the instrument of perception. You have consciousness backing it all up, and then the existence of the word depends on this consciousness. But the mind is going to experience each one of these words uniquely according to the instrument of perception. And with all its relative uniqueness, you are not going to find reality because they are conditional to that body experience, that kind of realm. Different animals have different sensory faculties. Gaudapada gives an example of experiencing different things in different places, but the observer is the same. This is a simple thing to observe, So I experience so many different things in this life. If I take myself to be the mind experiencing things, I will feel like, oh, but I was changing all the time. Because the mind was one when I was 5, and then changed when I was 15, and now has even changed more. And my subtle body, with all its functions, has changed completely. So Gaudapada says that we can experiencing everything, and consciousness is the only unchanging thing. The observer consciousness remains always the same. So as we can see in this lifetime, in the awakened world, we remain the same. And then we can expand that understanding, and we can say that even in the dream and other states experience different dimensions, the same principle that remains the same through all phases of my life must remain the same through all experience on different realms. The nature, consciousness of the observer remains the same. Just as a well-educated person travels from place to place, experiencing different things in this earth itself. The mind is changed, but the person is there as unchanged as consciousness. Similarly, Jivatma travels from loka to loka, experience different things in different births. All these experiences depend upon consciousness for their existence and dependent upon the instruments of experience for their experience. Yeah? The nature of experience depends on the instrument of experience. Yeah? Uniqueness cannot be the criterion for reality. Isn't it beautiful, this verse 8? Huh? Very nice, huh? Verse 9, in the dream state itself, anything projected within the mind is indeed unreal. Anything experienced outside by the mind is real. The unreality of both is experienced on spiritual awakening. So now he's presenting, in the beginning, he's presenting the two statements, they are objections. And the last statement is a statement of the guru, okay? But the beginning, they say the dream state itself, in the dream state, anything projected within the mind is unreal. So, says the objector, anything experienced outside of the mind must be real then. And then the guru comes and say, no, the unreality of both is experienced upon spiritual awakening. Okay? So there are two levels of awakening, awakening from the dream state, from the dreaming state, yeah? And awakening from the awake state. Yeah? So that's the bottom line here. The objector comes up with a new definition of Sachin Mithya. He says that dream is Mithya and waking up is Sachin. So it's difficult to accept the Vedantic teaching that this world is Mithya. And so the objector tried to prove that this world is Sachin, as opposed to the Mithya world, which is the dream world. We experience the dream only within our body. Since we have closed our sense of the dream world is experienced inside our mind, but here is present again and again as it's implied inside of me. Yeah? And I take myself to be the body. The objector is not very smart, as we can see. Therefore, we know that the dream world is a mental projection and it must be Mithya. Whereas the world is not within my body, but is experienced outside my body. It must be Sachin. Yeah? Whatever is external must be real, and whatever is internal must be Mithya for several reasons that we have seen in the previous class. You know, how could those mountains and oceans fit within my body? Yeah? Fitting within my brain and so on, many arguments. Externally and internally is not a criterion for reality or in reality. Yeah? So it's more or less the same concept being presented again. The only thing is that he presents that there is an awakening from the awakened states that proves that both are unreal. Gaudapada says that superficially seen, this seems to be correct. You say that this world, Gaudapada says to the objector, you say that this world is outside in the waking state, and you say that the dream world is inside of you in you say that the dream world is inside only in the awaking state. Yeah, he's saying like, when you are dreaming, you don't tell me that the dream world is happening within yourself, your brain or your body or anything. Okay, so in the dream world, while dreaming, you don't have those concepts. No? You are studying the dream world from the standpoint of the awakening state. Yeah. So you remember those teachings about how conditional and relative reality, this Mithya reality is. Yeah? So it all depends on where you stand. Yeah? So in the awakened state, we're going to say that the dream is unreal, and we say that the awakening state is real. So in the dream state, we'll say the dream world is real and the awakened state is unreal, although I never had anybody asking me that in my dreams. But it's possible because you have no way to access the awakened state using the dreamer body, the dream body. So you are studying the dream world in the awakened state, but to be really objective, you must study the awakened world in the awakened state, and you must study the dream world in the dream state. But as we have already established, in the dream world, my dream mind is not as good. We don't have much of our discriminating faculty available in the dream world. That's why we behave a little bit like crazy, So we can only do this work in the awakened state. And we are trying to, from the standpoint of the awakened state, to realize the awakening world is unreal. Because only here we have a certain faculty, intellectual faculty, that allows us to follow the logic presented by the Upanishads. When you are in dream, is the dream world experienced internally or externally? No, the question does not arise. Mentally, image, you are mentally, imagine you are in a dream. So now imagine in a dream, you realize that you have a dream physical body. Dream sense organs and your experience are externally to you. So you are dreaming and you start dreaming that you have a physical body, experience things in the physical world. A dreamer never says that he has experienced the dream in himself. So the dreamer experienced the dream outside of himself. And that's what Swami Paramarthananda was saying, that even in the dream, it is an objective experience. It's not a subjective experience, because when you dream, I don't believe that. I don't take it, I'm just dreaming my vasanas. It's just my thoughts. No, I'm objectively experiencing the dream world. There's external to me in the dream world. That's the point. A dreamer never say that experience it internally. All experience in dream are very similar to the awakened world, and they are all both external to the dream body and external to the physical body. So how nice, So everything happens outside, if we take in and out as a means to define reality. So the dreamer can also commit mistakes in dream and can also have a dream in the dream. You are dream in the dream, you begin dreaming. So the dreamer can really make huge mistakes of accessing experience and coming up with a response. Inner and outer are thus relative expressions. Relative expressions should not be used for defining reality. So beautiful. You cannot define reality on the relative world, conditional world. From the awakening standpoint, the dream world is inside, but from the dreamer's standpoint, the dream world is outside. And even though it is outside on awakening, we find that even the so-called outside world is also mithya. Now, look at the verse. In the dream state also, what the dreamer projects within his mind, he sees as outside mithya. And what the dreamer experiences outside the dream body, the dreamer takes to be real. On a waking up, both the inside and the outside of the dream become unreal, become mithya. The dreamer takes as real. On a waking up, both the inside and outside of the dream become unreal, become mithya. Vedanta says that from the waking body's standpoint, this world is real only. So Vedanta says that from the awakening body's standpoint, this world is real only as the awaker, using the awakening body under the spell of Maya, of course, under the spell of Vidya. Vedanta says that only from the awakening body's standpoint, this world is seen as real. We never say that the world is mithya when we stood the world from the standpoint of the physical body, because you are, relatively speaking, standing, in the suborder called the physical material universe, using your physical body, and then we see that you are standing in reality, it's satya from that standpoint. But as we know, you never really grasp reality, in the standing in the physical world, watching reality from the standpoint, of your mind at that stand. Why? Because the body mind is extroverted, and we're going to see the world, and almost invariably, we're going to miss the light of consciousness, which is the only reality. So the world seems to be real. And I say the world is real, but in closer examining, I see, no, it's not really real. Scientists begin coming to that conclusion, maybe. So the objector of Vedanta would say, no, the world must be seen as Satya from the standpoint of the awaker. But when you wake up and learn to look at the world from the standpoint of self-knowledge, okay, and then this is the second awakening. Self-knowledge, your higher nature as the self, both the body as well as the physical material world, are nothing but thoughts produced by Maya. They are Maya's disturbance. Yeah? So within the dream world, we must accept a certain conditional reality. Within the awakening world, we must accept a certain conditioning reality. And we take this reality from that standpoint of the waking body, as reality in the point to the extent that I cannot neglect it completely as mithya, but I should never lose the vision from the perspective of my higher nature. And in the background, I know that this too is also mithya. From consciousness, this is all a trick of Maya. They are Maya's thoughts, Maya's disturbance, Maya's superimposition. Like the dream is nothing but thoughts in your mind, this physical world is nothing but some disturbance in the cosmic mind of Mr. Maya. This is an ultimate understanding of why this physical material universe is also mithya. Okay, and the parallel is like in the dream world, my world, my private world are but thoughts in my mind. On the macro cosmic level, this physical world is dreamt by the powerful Maya, this Maya Tattva. For this, you have to shift your attention from the body to consciousness. And from consciousness, you understand that this physical world is more or less just like the dream. But it's not my dream, because people go to the extent to say, okay, this world is a dream. And now that I know that a dream, I'm going to dream it differently. I'm going to dream it to my advantage. Yeah. They say, no, no, it's not like that. You know, you don't have this. Yeah, no, I am God. I can dream it. No, you cannot. You can modify a little bit your pratibhasika, in a way that you see the world more positively, and then accepting for what it is. But that's going to give you a better experience of this crazy world. But you cannot change the world, because it's Maya Shwara who is dreaming this world. But in which way I'm co-create? You're co-create because you are putting into the field your vasanas, and this world is organized by Maya. It's facilitated by Maya, based on one's vasanas. It's the collective vasanas of all Jivatmas that allows Maya to sustain and reshape this universe again and again, changing from moment to moment. I cannot change the dream. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, so strangely enough, my internet dropped. It hasn't happened for many months, and I'm using now my not my best provider, but the other one. Let's see if we can conclude it. It's good that did not cut. It's still in the same. I don't need to paste it later on the parts. So when you wake up and learn to look, if it drops again, we end the class, okay? When we wake up and we learn to look at the world from the standpoint of my higher nature consciousness, I see both bodies and both worlds as a dream, as a projection, a superimposition, made possible by Maya's power, So like the dream is nothing but thoughts in your mind, the physical world is nothing but thoughts in the cosmic mind of Mr. Maya. We need to shift our identity, our perspective. We need to stand in consciousness as consciousness to realize that this physical material universe appears to be solid and therefore real, just because of the instruments that God has created to us through the grossification of the elements. Okay, so that's why it's nicely said that we need a more grossified structure on which we can experience this apparent reality with some chance to become wise here, to learn some fundamental lessons. So we need our sense organs, sense instruments to be able to transact here. Verse 9. What is the verse? Verse 9 we just did. Yeah. So this is the next class, and he's just recapping a little bit. So we know that both words are mithya by now, and we have a lot of logical support. And the first definition is that whatever is useful is real and whatever is useless is unreal. And we have proved that to be a wrong logic, very, very bad logic, because utility cannot be a criterion, because in each one of these realms of experience, every object there serves a certain utility. And we need to stay within each one of these suborders to understand, how beautifully structured it is, using specific instruments of perception in which everything appears to be real. Yeah? So within each one of these perceptive worlds, the dream world is the dream world with that its dreams object is as useful in the dream as the awake world in the awaking state. The second criterion is the uniqueness. The waking and the dream worlds have their own uniqueness, and therefore both are real. Gaudapada countered that objection by saying that uniqueness does not depend on the objective world, but the instruments we are perceiving those objective worlds, it's different, it's unique. No, it's you are using a different instrument. Yeah? We have in this planet here several living creatures experiencing the same physical material world, planet, differently, because they experience through different instruments of perception. Yeah? And then which one is the real world? The world that the human animals perceive, or the world that my chickens perceive, or Lynn's cats perceive, So it's every one of these inner worlds or subjective experience. They're unique to what? To the instrument perceiving their words. And within this world, we know that so many different creatures are perceiving things differently, because it depends on the instrument of perception. So is the case in every loka. The experience is going to depend on what? On the instrument of perception of each one of us. So when we go to a certain loka, maybe we all experience, that kind of reality. And maybe not, we're going to project our own pratibhasika, to somehow experience it in a unique way or not. But it doesn't matter. It's not relevant. So these unique words cannot be taken to be real. Therefore, uniqueness is not a criterion for reality. The third criterion was taken by the verses 9 and 10. The world outside should be accepted reality. The world inside cannot be experienced by reality as reality. Internal and external was the criterion. So we understood that that's not the case. Depends on where you stand. So the funny thing about all of that is that we say we must stand in consciousness as consciousness to understand the reality of this awakening world, But once we stand when we stand as the awaker, and then we understand the dream world in a certain way. When we stand as the dreamer, we understand that dream world as reality in a certain way, And then we just have to expand that and say, stand in consciousness, your higher nature. And then you're going to experience the dream world and the awakened world as realities. But how can we stand in consciousness as consciousness? Because as consciousness, we are not going to experience anything. You understand? But I can know I stand in consciousness as the awaker, and then due to my good work, I have the possibility to understand my higher nature as the only reality, and then I can discard the awakening world as mithya as well. Although I cannot stand as consciousness as an experiencing entity, the experience entity must come from consciousness associated with an instrument of experience. Yeah. So, but we say standing consciousness, and from there you're going to see this world, but only here. And this knowledge must be so clear, because self-knowledge needs to be very, very clear, doubtless, so that it can allow us this shift of perception of the world. Standing consciousness, all there is no ground to standing consciousness as consciousness, because consciousness is my true nature. Understanding consciousness is my true nature. And then I can take this as a mithya world in the physical realm. But I'm not an experiencing entity there. And also, as once I understand that, the physical world is not going to disappear. Because some people say, oh, it's unreal, and then poof, it's going to disappear. No. You see, Vedanta does not offer us none of these experiential elements to confirm self-knowledge and moksha. You understand? That's why it does not have much of appeal to most people, because people believe that Vedanta is just a philosophy. But as I often say, it begins as a philosophy once we come to the teachings of the Yin Yoga or the Upanishads. Before it begins as a science, the science of Mithya, Shvara, Jiva, Jagat. And then it grows to become a philosophy. And this philosophy, it's going to go beyond academic philosophy to become a self-knowledge, aham brahmasmi knowledge. Okay, so unless it fructifies as aham brahmasmi knowledge, it is still a philosophy. Okay, so it is academic knowledge. It may be even doubtless, but this academic philosophy needs to allow this transformation to take place, so that one understands one's true nature as consciousness and stands in consciousness within this physical material universe, and through this physical body and the intellect hooked up to this physical body. Only then we may have this knowledge, which is unshakable, that this world is not really real, because I am the only reality, consciousness. So the dream have a dream body, the awakening has a waking body, and in consciousness I have a waking body, a consciousness body. No, there is no consciousness body. You understand? There is no consciousness body. So body is the principle that experience in these mithya realms of reality, of apparent reality, using certain bodies, which are instruments of experience in duality. For a dreamer, when the image, imaginary world, it will seem internal to his dream and blah, blah, blah. We have the term that already. The external and the internal world. The external world will be declared to be unreal by the dreamer, if the dreamer would have the intellectual faculty to, in the dream, I heard about the awakened world, that awakened world is mithya, is not real. Reality is only the dreamer world. But the dreamer world, the dreamer does not have that capability to analyze one's experience in the light of the teachings of the Upanishads, right? If that could happen in the dream world, that you're going to analyze your experience as the waker, you would say, no, there is no such a thing as the waking state. The awaker says that from the awaker's standpoint, the external world is real and the dream world is unreal. For the wise man that has woken up to his Atma Svarupam, so nature as consciousness, the self, from that standpoint, the external world, the physical material and otherwise, are all exactly like the dream world. They are mithya, they are projections. Externally cannot be the criterion. Utility cannot be the criterion. Uniqueness cannot be the criterion. There is only one criterion, which is anything that can be experienced and known is an object of experience, and it is just mithya. It's unreal. Because I am the principal consciousness, conceit, appearance to all these objects. This is the criterion. No? Aham Satya, Jagata Mithya. In the awakened state, learn to think of the dream as a dreamer. In the awakened states, learn to imagine the dream as the dreamer. And then, you just wear the shoes of the poor dreamer, and then don't find him to be stupid when he starts running and not moving. You understand? And unable to understand that it's just a dream. So just accept and have compassion for your dreamer. In the dream world, the dreamer says that whatever he's imagining inside is unreal, but what is experienced outside from the dreamer's standpoint, the dreamer will say is real. The dreamer's conclusion is that reality will continue until he or she wakes up. If the dreamer would have that faculty, that intellectual ability. The moment the dreamer wakes up, the entire dream world will be deemed to be just a bunch of thoughts in the mind. If this is understood from the standpoint of the dreamer, extend this to the standpoint of the awaker also. So the awaker must understand that the awake world is just thoughts, okay? A bunch of thoughts, collective thoughts, the entire history of humanity, thoughts in the mind of Maya, holding this projection in place so that we can continue in our mission. Now, what is the mission? Aham Satya, Brahma Satya, Jagata Mithya. This is the message of the Upanishads, and it is indeed a very disturbing message, but it is the truth. So that's why this Mandukya is said to be the most shocking Upanishads, the most disturbing. Okay, we will get back next week from the verse 10. And anything from you guys?
I just really appreciate this time studying this, because I've realized lately that what has been not lacking, but not strongly enough emphasized is the manana. And this is just beautiful manana. So,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. We need to do our studs, until I mentioned that last time. It's important to understand that I am the only reality. Otherwise, we will not really enjoy the fruits of self-knowledge. I am consciousness. I am consciousness is one level of excuse me, of realization. I am consciousness, and everything is consciousness. And then another level is I'm whole, full, and complete. And another level is I'm the only reality. So when you come to understand what it means, I am consciousness, it means I am full, whole, and complete. I'm non-dual. And then you are ready to understand that I am the only reality. And the understanding that I am the only reality is what's going to offset the power of mind, of Maya, to elude all of us, to again and again fall for this unreal world and getting all excited, running to gain, attain, or avoid things, and that prevents us from fully enjoy the fruits of self-knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Is
you.
Sylvia still with us? Yes. Okie dokie. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Okay, we meet again this coming Friday, Shwara willing, same time, same Mitya. We don't beat in Satya, in Mitya. Mitya, Vyavaharika Mitya, okay?
We'll do
Okay. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Arlindo. Wonderful satsang.
it.
Thank you, Mark.